This is NTV. This is NTV. This is NTV. This is NTV. This is NTV.
NTV Kusaawa Emu mizannyo olwaleero agava mu mupiira gwa Angola ne Uganda ogukyagenda mu maaso mu kibuga Luanda ekya Angola si malungi eri ttiimu ya Uganda. Angola ekyakulembedde Uganda Cranes goal emu ku bwereere. Goal ya Angola eteereddwa mu kitundu ekisoose mu ddakiika ey'omusanvu. Ebisinga mu birinde mawulire gaffe yagaddako ku ssaawa 3:30. Bwetweyongerayo, Gulu Hawks olwaleero ewangudde oluzannya olwokutaano mu liigi ya basketball ey'omwaka guno. Gulu Hawks ekubye NBC Rocks. Oluzannya luno lw'ekibinja ekyokubiri lubadde mu Kampala ku YMCA ewandegeya.
Aba Gulu Hawks bafuba kukwata kifo mu kibinja ekisooka ekya liigi era obuwanguzi bwa leero bubawadde essuubi. Bawangudde ekitundu ekisoose ku bugoba 22 ku 4 kyokka ne babakuba 19 ku 13 mu kyokubiri. Gulu Hawks eyongeddemu amaanyi mu kitundu ekyokusatu n'ekyokuna okumaliriza ng'ewangudde ku mugatte gwa bugoba 92 ku 41. Agustino Wing, Walter Lenyo ne Patrick Nyeko be basinze okukolera Gulu Hawks obulungi.
Olweggulo gye twazannyemu twabadde tetusobola ku stopping omupiira naye olwaleero twagenze mu maaso ne tunyiga omupiira buli mupiira ogujja twagunyize nga tebalina ekiseera ekyokuteeba ewaffe eno.
Abagulu Hawks ekireso tuwangula babadde organized, they were more organized than us. Ekyokubiri badde ne ba big men, so they out rebounded us. Tubadde our team is mulimu bagayi, most of us tuli bampi.
Kati Gulu Hawks yakawangula enzannya 5 ku 8 ze yakeetabamu. Aba NBC Rocks abakubiddwa be basembye mu kibinja ekyokubiri era tebannawangulayo oluzannya lwonna.
NTV Kusaawa Emu. Timu ya rugby eya Rwenzori okuva mu Uganda yakubiddwa Rhino eya Kenya ku bubonero 25 ku 14 mu za Bamburi Super Series. Aba Rwenzori tutegedde nti bakomawo enkya. Aba Rwenzori bakulembedde omuzannyo ekitundu ekisooka ku bubonero 14 ku 7 kyokka bannakenya babasinziza obukodyo ne babawangulira ku bubonero 25. Aba Rhino bakawangula ekikopo kino emirundi 4 eky'omuddiringanwa. Tewali timu ya Uganda yali ewangudde ekikopo kino. Nga tumaliriza katubatuzeeko eggulire twabategeezezza mu kusooka. Ennamugongo si buli agendayo nti aba agenze kufumitiriza ku bumalirivu bw'abajulizi ba Uganda bwe balina ne batuuka n'okuttibwa. Eriyo abagenda okukola ssente nga batunda ebintu, eriyo abagenda okulya n'okunywa n'okubinuka mu ngeri emu oba endala. Obwedda nno tugoberera byonna ebigenda mu maaso okuva ekiro ekiise okutuusa omukolo gyonna lw'ogiwedde.
Abagenzi okujaguza olunaku lw'abajulizi basuze babinuka masejjero okukeesa obudde era nga bangi ku bbe by'okusaba babyesonyiye nga tebalina gatawaana ne basalawo okukoonamu ebbidde. Newankubadde obudde bubadde bukedde, abadigize tekibaganye kusigala nga banyenya kugaliba enjole. Ku mulundi guno bawadda nga babasembezizaayo wala nga gye babadde nabo banyumiddwa mu ngeri yaabwe. Buli alina kyatunda asobodde okulaajanira abaguzi okukigula kubanga kuno kubadde kuvuganya kwa maanyi awatali kusaaga olw'embeera ebaddewo.
Ebyo bibadde ku biggwa by'abajulizi e Namugongo abagenze okusaba mukulika eyo nnyo nange kambagaliza wiiki ennungi. Farida Nakazibwe mbagaliza birungi byerere mbajjukiza nti NTV Weekend Edition ku luno egenda kubeerawo ku ssaawa 3:30 so si 3 nga bulijjo. Musebe bulungi era mweraba.
This is NTV. This is NTV. This is NTV. Turning on your world.
Today on Showcase Uganda, we visit Jinja, the city of hidden gems. On your way to Jinja, nestled within Mabira Forest is Mabira Trading Centre. From time immemorial, travellers traversing the Jinja Road have stopped off here, most times beckoned quite energetically by sellers to enjoy the famed Mabira roasted chicken. Besides just this meal break also offers the opportunity to mingle with the warm and friendly locals, making the experience both exciting and memorable. Mabira Forest, 54 kilometers from Kampala city, is Uganda's largest rainforest and offers visitors a rare tropical experience. A natural forest walk will give you the chance to appreciate the variety of flora and fauna abundant here. The forest is brought to life by the sprawling monkey species that inhabit the forest. For all nature lovers, this walkthrough is a must-do. "87 kilometers out of Kampala, we finally arrive at Uganda's second largest commercial centre, Jinja, which was established in 1901. Located on the shores of Lake Victoria, Jinja lies near the source of the White Nile River. The city is the chief town of Jinja district and is considered the capital of the Busoga Kingdom. Jinja hosts a population of approximately 106,000 people, the majority being of Bantu origin and are English speaking. The Busoga Kingdom. Located at Bugembe Hill, this is where the Chabazinga, the Katikiro, and the Royal Clan Council sit. The Busoga Kingdom has a long and interesting historical perspective that explains the very nature and bond of the cultural institutions found in Uganda. Although, quite unlike the typical monarchies in Africa, the Busoga did not have central authorities at the advent of the coming of British rule, but she had nevertheless developed small principalities, each with its own hereditary rulers. These principalities were later to be consolidated into her central authority under a king called Isebantu Chabazinga, who ruled the Busoga Kingdom. Dancing and drumming form the very core of the Busoga tradition and culture. Having been the industrial pulse of Uganda since the 1960s, it is common sight to come across some of Uganda's successful industries right here in Jinja. The industrial landscape has formed the fabric of Jinja's identity and prosperity, which in turn is a huge part of the tourist appeal of Jinja town. One such attraction open to visitors is witnessing the brewing process of a popular brew. When Showcase Uganda returns, we discover Jinja's gems. Jinja's natural endowment is probably most visible here at the Bujagali waterfalls. The mighty yet stunningly beautiful Bujagali Falls are located 15 minutes from Jinja town, some 10 kilometers below Lake Victoria, and a testament of the natural bliss Uganda offers. The luxurious vegetation covering the riverbanks and island, and the startling diversity of bird life, complemented by the multitude of fish, complete the stunning vista of the Omuga Chira, or the White Nile. Be sure to bring along your camera for some memorable pictures.
Every time when the boat didn't flip off.
More than 4,000 miles in length, the Nile River offers thrilling adventures for visitors of all ages and abilities. The Great Waterway has played a monumental role in history, and it traverses an incredible variety of landscapes and a colourful melody of cultures. It has enthralled civilization with its power and mystery, with some of the most powerful and sustained rapids on Earth. Enjoy this adrenaline rush.
And then bring it with you. We've got a big pelican case that's like this orange one. Definitely not the orange one. There's a big yellow one over by all the gear. You can bring that with you, okay? The only other thing you need to bring with you other than what you're wearing, and I'm going to talk about that in a sec, is any medications. If any of you guys have asthma or anything like that, you need to let your guide know, okay?
Everybody, okay, it's Joe Broggs out here. We're in the Pearl of Africa. Yes, it's Uganda, and you are about to go rafting on the mighty White Nile. Okay, the one-day mighty White Nile. It's one of God's biggest water features. So hang on really tight, it's gonna get wet. Woo!
Satisfaction in me. A little more pain, a little less fun. A little less pain, a little more spark. Close your mouth and open up your heart and baby, satisfy me. Satisfy me, baby.
Whitewater rafting experience right here on the banks of the mighty River Nile. Our crews are upstream right now practicing how to hold on, how to flip. But right here, it's Bujagali Falls Class 4. Big lead in to a big kicking wave. You're gonna love this. Check it out.
Today, I used to have one too, baby. Oh, come and have a look. Oh,
Also available is the opportunity to experience the Nile High bungee jump. Touted as being one of the most visually impressive bungee jumps in the world, this experience will get anyone's blood pumping. Kites and fish eagles circle the tower as thrill seekers prepare to plunge 44 meters into the source of the Nile. The Nile High bungee jump has been created using world-leading technology that guarantees a state-of-the-art personalized challenge. Safety and environmental sustainability are of utmost importance, and the site has been constructed to international standards. So why not take the cue and take the plunge? After the break, we visit Jinja's hotels and hangouts. Perched atop a cliff overlooking the source of Africa's longest river, we find the starting point for rafting trips and the home for bungee jumping on the Nile. You can pitch a tent here for as little as $2 per night or 3,600 Uganda shillings. Relax in the bunk dormitories or treat yourself to little more comfort in the well-appointed safari tents. The camp boasts a nicely tiled ablution area and a well-stocked bar within roaring distance of the rapids on the Nile. 5 minutes walk from the campsite is this swimming pool. Camp residents can make use of the beautiful pool for a token amount per day, as well as treat themselves to a buffet meal. Great value meals are served daily at the camp. Enjoy the Mongolian dishes or cook up your own feast, whatever tickles your fancy. Like most other developed towns in Uganda, Jinja is also famed for its variety of nightclubs. Sombreros is Jinja's finest discotheque. Coupled with its exquisite fittings and impeccable taste of furnishings, the laid-back music creates the perfect atmosphere to unwind and relax. A special way to wind up an activity-packed day. On Showcase Uganda, we head east.
NTV, turning on your world.
Last week on the show, the Tricksters team showed how the security of your home could be invaded right under the nose of your housekeeper.
Hello, Mami. Munenze Francis wa boda boda. Omwala okazi wagame ampena chi? Computer yachi? Ya daddy kale.
A friendly customer could easily be a friendly thief.
Movao ompene ne sati kuganjagala nyume kuno mugoli no kunyuma
kala cheyo sati
genda ku suit ya black
oba checha atengendo kuwa omukono musajja aliwa.
And a preoccupied passenger could become a robbery victim in seconds.
Madam, help him well so that we leave the place. It will be easier that way.
Madam, hold here.
Hold in Jumo Yame to one. Nemo Vemuchejo.
And today, the Tricksters team of Albert, Edwin, and Felix has been joined by Ramla as she unleashes her feminine charm to show you yet more scams which have parted many victims from their money. This is Tricksters. Coming up on the show, a lady hands over all her money to some helpful strangers.
Kaji, where are you taking the bag?
Leave the bag with her.
What is the problem?
Old clothes for new. A customer pays a high price for an old ragged piece.
This one you'll put it on until you are tired of it. Even your grandchildren are going to put on this trouser.
And a salesgirl and her airtime are soon parted.
Scratch it. Zamina customer care, but not.
Hey there people, welcome to Tricksters. You're with your man, Peter. Now, a walk through the city reveals all sorts of individuals working hard trying to make money. Now, some are trying to do it the honest way while others are trying to con you out of your hard-earned money. There are many ways in which you can lose your money. These are some of them. Have a look. Right, so a recent study has shown that 20% of Ugandans believe in witchcraft, voodoo, African science, juju. So what have con artists decided to do? They've decided to invest. Some clever con artists have decided to take advantage of their situation and make a quick buck. Have a look. This con is mainly practiced outside banks, where one of the conmen is stationed inside the bank. As soon as he sees a customer who has withdrawn a large amount of money, he alerts his accomplices waiting outside. Then they spring their trap. This is Sonia, who is completely unaware that she is walking into a trap.
Excuse me, Banyama. What? Gamulabye nnyo.
Bani? Tubakoze bubi.
Tukoze bubi.
Olaba omwami oyo agenda.
Oyo.
Tumubanja milioni zaffe 28.
Weddu.
Nata aganyo zitusasula.
So what? Are we concerned?
Antikati. Laba. Twamuteze eddagala wali. Alibuuke. Ebisiraani bimugendereko, esente ze zonna zimuggweko, bizinesi ze zife, kakira we mubibuuse.
Echichi?
Olaba we mubibuuse.
What? Chotegaza muno bikuta dagali eri. Oh my god. Oh my god. Tugenda kola tutya.
Mulabye.
Sokoleke ebisiraani bina bigenda kola bigenda ku.
Ramla puts on an act which is designed to throw Sonia into a panic.
Mulabye.
Go home with those bisiraani.
Mulabye nnyo.
Please, what are we going to do?
Sorry.
I have a shop. This is 1 million years ibiri. I have my kids. Nzadi mukazi mzadde zegolaba. Banange edduka mwenzi jasendeze nsasulira bana wange school fees. Sente ze.
Sorry.
What if I don't work nengena nebya bisirani ku mulimu?
Naye kati.
Our clients, our customer. What are we going to do?
Tukole bwetuki. Bali innocent nnyo bambi. Tubayambe tubambulule. Tubayambe.
Ladies, now what you are going to do is we are going to help you get rid of all those curses. Yonna. But you have to react as fast as possible.
See how we going to react.
Kakati nayo buzibu. Twetaaga awali omuki ogw'omuyembe omusajja. Wanono wawe guli wano ha.
Guli nakawa.
Uwa
nakawa ku stage.
Wamma kuseji weguli. Tugende.
Tugenda bawa sente.
Mwine motoka tu.
I've got a car.
Okay, kali.
Everything happens so fast. The victim is not given time to think clearly.
Tugenda mu bikwambulule.
Yama.
La salakita.
Abraka.
The sindarasi.
Abraka.
Le singale.
Abraka.
Rondo sinda.
Yabraka baka.
Los
Abraka. And now,
yes, sir.
You are going fast.
Yes, sir.
You go behind that tree. And when you reach there, open your arms like this.
Yes.
3 times. How many?
3 times.
Yes. When you, after blowing, close your eyes and say the following words.
Yes, sir.
Ebisiraani bigende bikunte n'empewo ezikunjira ku nnyanja. Again.
Ebisiraani byonna
bigende bikuntire ku mpewo ezikuntira ku nnyanja. And after, don't look behind.
Yes, sir.
Just walk straight.
Okay, sir.
I say ujiwoli, don't go with the bag.
Ramla gives her handbag to Sonia to gain her trust. And she hurries to carry out the commands of the conmen.
Okay, no, I'm going.
Unless you are so act immediately. What is your problem?
Mama, tofayo.
My God, this is so horrible.
Things will be okay.
I did not end up like this.
Mama,
we shall work it out.
Mommy, don't worry. Mommy, don't worry.
Everything will go back to normal.
Yes. It will go back to normal, and you will forget that you ever stepped in witchcraft. And you ever jumped in witchcraft.
Yes. You see, muno uyo yako mau. She has finished.
Says Sonia that she has to do this.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Man,
thank you so much.
Now you're the one next. You said the same word he told him.
Totally. And remember the rules. Don't look back.
Will she hand over her handbag?
Where are you taking the bag?
Leave the bag with her.
What is the problem? Don't go with the
Never
bag.
be nyabo yangu wasobola ogenda fena kutwaleko.
Yeah,
don't look behind.
Don't, yeah, Barakasara. Don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Ebisirani bikunte ngembu yagaye kuntira ku nyanja. Oh my God! Bazibye mamaze sotazaba ningena zisasuzachi.
This kind of con usually has the conmen acting in pairs or groups, with one conman acting as the victim, in this case Ramla. Her role is to convince the victim that they are in it together, and so they have to work together to overcome this catastrophe. Victims of this con have even been convinced to go and withdraw their life savings to remove the curse. One thing is for sure, if I were a con man, I would make money targeting people from the bank, but not one guarded by my Fande friend over here. Fande, see you. There are a number of things I can't do without. I can't do without food, I can't do without water, and I can't do without airtime. Have a look. Many times cons are successful because they are carried out by the most unlikely people. Conmen posing as rich businessmen and driving flashy cars have many times got away with very simple cons. In this episode, Edwin is posing as a big-time businessman, and Brenda at the airtime store is about to fall victim to his tricks.
Madam, get me airtime for MTN.
MTN? For how much?
10,000. Scratch it. Zamina customer care, banna.
He starts off with intimidation.
Hello, David. Yeah, this is James. Kati emotoka zinaguze okuva I Japan namaze okuzikiriyalinga. Ne containers eza spare parts mwamaze ziloadinga.
He makes her believe that he is a prosperous businessman. He is a rich guy, she thinks.
Yeah, yes, but hurry up, mwanguwe banayi. Aha, echo chiko. Hello? This airtime of Uganda is so funny. You load 10,000, make a call abroad, and just a minute is finished.
No, international calls.
Okay, get me now for 60,000.
Still MTN?
Yeah, of course, MTN. Sorry.
He springs his trap. Will she bite?
Sebo. Bwoba tolina sente mbuulira ne airtime wange nno ng'omunziriza.
Nedda. Wallet ndabika njerabidde wali mu motoka ku dashboard. Kati mpaye emitwalo 4. Kuba nina emitwalo 10 obw'etaano so ati mbukuwe uleetera change tusobole okwanguya.
Tolina change.
Bambi yangu. Ngenda kutuma omwana agenda.
This con works only because the sales girl cannot suspect the so-called rich man to be a thief. I mean, the gentleman drives a Mercedes, he talks big, how can he be a thief? So the easiest way to con people is when you have a flashy car and a smart smile. Therefore, send your money to 0774 066 312. That's 0774 066 312, and I'll send your airtime back double the amount you sent me. That's it for today. Keep away from trouble, and you know you'll be in trouble, and it will be big trouble if you don't watch Tricksters. Next time, I'm Peter. Have a good time. Now, the best con men know when to strike, especially when people are confused. They stop to think. Like now, I'm wondering, do I take this plain shirt or this striped one? More and more supermarkets and boutiques are springing up regularly in the city and its outskirts. They have definitely made the shopping experience easier. But not everyone can shop here. The con we're about to see is mainly practiced by dishonest salespeople in crowded places like markets, bazaars, and roadside market days.
Hey, customer!
Adnan is out shopping for a decent pair of trousers, and he turns out to be the day's victim. Edwin, as the first conman, is ready to receive him in his shop. Edwin is working with Albert, who will come in later to confuse Adnan. The victim is impressed by the professional touch.
Let me have a look at
this. That's one. Blue, this one is of a very, very high quality. This one you'll put it on until you are tired of it. Even your grandchildren, even the sons of your grandchildren will put it on and they'll just get tired of that.
How much is it?
This one, I had to choose to say that this is only 150,000.
I have 50,000.
50,000? Custom. Sure. Kale, uweza kumi. The final price I want to give you 100,000 shillings. Zitunulire mpale ojirabe.
Zezo zeninamu. Njirabe mpale njirabe. Naye nga zezo zeninamu.
customer alisi weza 10 nazo sente zongambye naye weza 10 nange mbe nga nfunako kyenfunyeko
kati kankole nti nyakole emitwalo 8
naawe misolo renti at the end of the day mbasiitawo. Anyway, you're a good man, you're a good customer. Kogenda customer kale bambi yankuguze njikuwa gwe akubagwe. You are a very good customer and you're a gentleman. Shege nene empale ya mitwalo 15 mulasinza jimu era saagala oddeeyo gamba abantu ate ndo yambale ennaku enkulu zikyuka. Oh, yeah. Customer Bishibin. Bishibin? I told you 100,000 on pay mitwalo.
The shopkeeper sets out to confuse his customer. The victim is now confused and annoyed. Then the trap is sprung.
Customer, kale soko malaga jangu kamba kankuwe. Kamalega kuwe nezi ngoye. Kale. Kale bye mwana. Tujja kulaba.
He is happy to go before another change of mind. The con has been successful and the rest is routine.
Got money. Money mix. Mkubi kakati. Sigara huwa.
Kati zinzake leka.
Where is the man?
No, I don't know who is always here.
No.
Any problem?
There was a man who gave me this trouser.
What's the problem?
Look at the trouser he gave me. Look at the trouser. This is not what I bought.
So this is UK, please. From the UK.
Sure.
Okay?
But this is not the trouser. Look at it.
No. Please get up. Maybe you're in the wrong place.
No, it was this shop.
You're a thief. I can even call the police. Get out.
Albert intimidates the victim, who wonders whether he has come to the right shop.
No sense. Move out! Go! Look at him.
For me, that was the best con. I'm telling you, once the customer was confused, there was no point of return. I'm telling you, if I was a con artist, that would be the con I would use. But I can assure you, I'll never be one.
The mountain gorilla is considered endangered species, with only about 720 mountain gorillas left in the world. And these live within 4 national parks split into 2 regions: Bwindi Impenetrable Forest National Park, Mahinga Gorilla National Park in Uganda, Volcanoes National Park in Rwanda, and Virunga National Park in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The gorilla is the largest of all living primates and has a robust build with long muscular arms, a massive chest, and broad hands and feet. has longer and darker hair than other species, allowing it to live and travel at high altitudes where temperatures drop to below 0 degrees Celsius. The gorillas can be identified by nose prints unique to each individual. Male mountain gorillas stand up to an average height of 6 feet and weigh from 400 to 500 pounds, that is 227 kilograms, making them the largest of the great apes. Adult males are called silverbacks because they develop a streak of silver hair on their backs with maturity. The silverback is the leader and the ultimate protector. The mountain gorilla is most active between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Most of this time is alternated between foraging, eating, and resting. They are herbivores and consume large amounts of vegetation. Adult males can eat up to 34 kilograms of vegetation a day, while a female can eat as much as 18 kilograms. Females reach breeding age at about 10 years old. They typically bear young every 4 to 5 years, giving birth after a gestation period of 8 to 9 months. The mountain gorilla is generally shy but highly social and lives in relatively stable, cohesive groups of up to 35 individuals. These groups are made up of one silverback, 1 or 2 blackbacks, a few mature female juveniles, and infants. And Southern Africa. It has a reddish-brown shaggy coat which progressively grows darker with maturity and a white bib under the throat. It is generously covered with thin brownish oily grease that has a distinct musky odor. It's easily recognized by a distinctive white band on the rump encircling the tail and the long bowl-shaped ringed horns of the male, which go up to 100 centimeters long. The female has no horns. The waterback stands up to 1.3 meters at the shoulder and weighs from 160 to 240 kilograms. The waterbuck roves in small herds in marshes, scrub and savanna areas near water where they mainly eat grass and require large quantities of water, hence their partiality to water bodies. The waterbucks share a social life similar to that of the corps. They are territorial and a herd usually has one dominant male with numerous females. Young males form bachelor herds which are a training ground for the bucks to perfect their skills in order to go and fight the dominant male. And this is part of their training process, and they will choose a partner according to their horns, which must be the same size. These these wrestling matches are preparing them for a major territorial fight with a dominant male in order to take over a leg in the traditional breeding grounds. Waterbucks will give birth to a single calf after a 7 to 8 month gestation period. Span of 18 years. Zebras belong to the horse family and are best known for their distinctive white and black stripes, with each zebra having its own unique pattern of stripes, just like fingerprints. There are 3 species of zebra: the plain zebra, gravy zebra, and the mountain zebra. Zebras generally stand from 4 to 5 feet at the shoulder and weigh around 300 kilograms. The largest species, gravy zebra, can weigh up to 450 kilograms. Zebras can be found in a variety of habitats, such as grasslands, savannas, woodlands, thorny scrublands, mountains, and coastal hills. When the group is alarmed, it takes to flight with the first 5 dominant females or mares in the front and the stallions bringing up the rear. Like horses, zebras walk, trot, canter, and gallop. They are generally slower than horses, but their great stamina helps them to outpace their predators. Bachelor males either live alone of other bachelors until they're old enough to challenge a breeding stallion. Like most animal species, female zebras mature earlier than males, and a mare may have her first foal by the age of 3. Zebras have a gestation period of 12 months. Zebras have a lifespan of 20 years.
This is NTV.
After a tiring but fun-filled day, the homely atmosphere of Bulago Lodge is a blessing. The island has 6 beautiful double cottages with facilities that easily accommodate families and large groups. The cottages have been designed to maintain an authentic African look with grass thatch roofs, wooden doors, beds and windows, and are well equipped with facilities like electricity and water. If you're interested in enjoying the beauty of the night skies and sharing your space with other nightlife, camping out can be organized. The home-cooked food is as delicious as it is varied. It is mainly homegrown and can be bought from the small number of local farmers who provide a range of fruits and vegetables, as well as the Lake Victoria Sailing Club farm. For non-vegetarians, there is a variety of chicken, which are also reared on the island. You get to sample the mouth-watering breakfast and a 4-course dinner. If you are in a romantic mood, a candlelight dinner can be arranged on the glimmering sandy beach under the stars, with the gentle roaring of the waves in the background as they break on the shore. One sight you should never forego on a visit to the island is to watch the sunset over the horizon. The breathtaking beauty of the sunset bathes the island in its glow. This is one memory that you will carry. Indeed, Bulago Island is a place where you can throw all your worries away and enjoy all of nature's abundant gifts. Next week on Showcase Uganda, we continue our sojourn through the delightful and quaint islands of Lake Victoria. Today on Showcase Uganda, we travel to the depths of central Uganda to explore and discover the splendor of its islands. Situated in Lake Victoria, the second largest freshwater lake in the world, Bulago Island is 10 miles east of Entebbe and 18 miles south of Uganda's capital city, Kampala. This ideal setting makes it the best located of all the 84 Sese Islands, due to its proximity to both the capital city and the international airport. The island's inhabitants, Basese, are a distinctive ethnic group with their own culture and folklore. The Basese were primarily fishermen, though now they also practice small-scale farming, growing crops like coffee, sweet potatoes, pineapples, and vegetables. Bulago Island is barely 500 acres and 2 miles long, with a wide expanse of sandy beaches and about 10 kilometers of shoreline. The island has a wide range of terrain, which ranges from rugged hills to open grasslands, golden sandy beaches, gentle cliffs to areas of tropical rainforest. The vegetation on the island varies, with the fertile shores more densely covered and the interior with its savanna-like grassland. The environment has been totally unaffected by the civil wars in the country, and thus the lush greenery and fauna on this paradise island, as it has been called, owes its existence to Lake Victoria, which at 3,750 feet above sea level generates its own climate. This also affects the surrounding land masses. It experiences rainfall almost all year round, with its first rain peak in April to May and second peak in October to November, averaging about 2,000 millimeters of rain a year. The ideal time to visit the island would be before or after the rain peaks, thus enabling you to enjoy the wonders the island has to offer without worries about heavy rain. The population on the island is very low, with Bulago Lodge occupying about a quarter of the island. The lodge is surrounded by lush lawns with natural trees and open grassland. A few mainlanders have been able to buy land and construct country homes, with the locals inhabiting their fair share. Bulago Island is easily accessible. The most common means of travel is by boat. These are available at the landing sites along the lake's shores, like Garuga. From this point, the boat ride is 40 minutes to the island. One could also charter a light aircraft from either Kajansi Airfield or Ntv International Airport to the island's airfield. The flight takes approximately 10 minutes, but would probably be slightly more expensive. The boat ride to the island on Lake Victoria, the source of the great River Nile, can be very refreshing with plenty of clean, fresh air. The hordes of birds flying overhead and the sight of occasional fishermen in their boats all make the scene even more intriguing. One can already anticipate the rare treats to expect from the island. The lake, although relatively shallow, being only 200 feet deep, is home to several hundred bird species on its many islands. As you approach the island from Garuga, the vast glistening expanse of water is awe-inspiring. The speed at which the motorboat travels, with the water churning in its path and the wind rushing past, all add up to this unique experience. A first glimpse of the island, with its golden sandy beaches and palm trees, is simply breathtaking. It prepares you for what you will experience during your stay. Complete relaxation, unrivaled serenity, and captivating views. When Showcase returns, we experience Bulago's delightful water sports and the wonders of nature. After landing on the island, one is overcome by the peaceful atmosphere and the stunning views unfolding before the eyes, setting the mood for a fun-filled and relaxing holiday. The lake is ideal for water sports, the most popular being jet skiing. Due to the reliable winds from mid-morning to late afternoon, the lake is generally calm and water skiing can be enjoyed throughout the day. Speeding across the waters with the wind blowing into your face and hair is an exhilarating and unforgettable experience. Be mindful though, as this activity is not recommended for unaccompanied younger children. The traffic on the lake is very light. One should not forget to look out for other boats, to know where they are and where they are heading in order to avoid collisions, especially before you make a turn or cross a wake.
I've been riding jet ski for about 2 years. Learning how to water ski. It's fun. Adrenaline rush. It's awesome.
It is also advisable to avoid high speeds near the shoreline as there may be swimmers about.
Bulago Island, Uganda's best kept secret. And you know, tourist destination #1, I tell you. Too much fun.
The weather is fantastic, the water is beautiful and warm, the beaches are beautiful and clean. People are warm and friendly. Man, it's a beautiful place to come. If I can come from South Africa, people can come from the rest of the world.
Sailing on the lake is also great fun. Bulago's north-facing bay, which is almost always calm, is a perfect venue for learning to sail. The sport can be safely enjoyed by both the young and old. For the less adventurous, the cool waters of the lake provide a perfect place to spend hours luxuriating and giving the body a full workout. The swim can be both relaxing and enjoyable, and you can top it up by sunbathing on the glorious sandy beaches. If you have a passion for fishing, the lake waters are magnificent and abound with the local Nile perch and tilapia, among others. Boats are available for hire, and you can go on an excursion into the lake and also witness traditional fishing methods as the fishermen cast their nets into the blue waters to harvest their catch.
Okay, we're going out to look for Nile perch, which are a predator, so they're the biggest fish in the lake, and they eat other fish. So what we do is we use these, which are an imitation of a smaller fish, and we tow it behind the boat. And this little nose makes it go down deep, and it swims along and it shakes like this. You can see the noise it makes, and it attracts the fish. So what we're hoping is a big Nile perch will be out there looking for breakfast, and he'll go for this. Okay. And you can see the 3 hooks on the bottom, 3 hooks on the end. Then we'll catch him, and it could take us anything from half an hour to an hour and a half to bring him actually to the boat, if we get a big one.
You can spend hours savouring the peaceful and fascinating experience. One of the greatest pleasures on the island is the variety of nature walks available. These walks provide nature lovers with the opportunity to explore and appreciate the island's abundant beauty. The walks range from quick strolls to lengthier hikes, giving you an opportunity to observe nature at its best. The view from the hills are magnificent, and for bird watchers, the lake is famed to have one of the largest varieties of bird species in the world. Another way you can get to enjoy the spectacular views and profusion of wildlife on the island is if you venture out on horseback. You can explore all the delights to your heart's content from a more elevated angle, while at the same time enjoying the ride with the cool breezes blowing in from the lake. This is indeed an enjoyable and relaxing pastime.
I love horse riding in Bulago Island. The horses are calm, they're good, they stick to the trail. You can see many things as you're going. It's beautiful scenery, and it's a nice atmosphere.
For the more adventurous, you can pick up the pace with quad bikes, which are available for pleasure rides. The bike is easy to handle after a few lessons, and this highly exhilarating experience can be enjoyed by both young and old. It is great fun racing around the island, but be careful of the fauna. With a variety of fabulous activities to participate in, there is never a dull moment on Bulago Island, and it is a heavenly place to relax, unwind, and have an enchanting holiday, or even a honeymoon. When Showcase returns, get a glimpse of other delights Bulago Island has to offer.
a body weight of up to 2 tons, the hippopotamus rivals the white rhinoceros as the second largest living land animal. It averages 3.5 meters long and 1.5 meters tall at the shoulder. Its name means river horse and it's semi-aquatic, inhabiting rivers and lakes in the grassland portions of sub-Saharan Africa. The hippopotamus is recognizable for its enormous barrel-shaped hairless body, big broad head and stubby legs. Even though it's a bulky animal, a hippo runs almost as fast as a human at 30 miles per hour. It's brownish grey on top with a light pink color underneath. The hippopotamus has its ears, nose and eyes positioned on top of its head so it can remain submerged and still monitor what's going on around it. A hippo spends most of its day lazing in the water with its top exposed and occasionally basking on a sandbar. It closes its nostrils and ears so water won't get in. It emerges every 4 to 6 minutes to breathe. The process of surfacing and breathing is automatic, and even a hippo sleeping underwater will rise and breathe without waking. Hippopotami live in herds with the largest pods of up to 100 animals, with one dominant male presiding over a stretch of the river. The hippopotamus is herbivorous and nocturnal. It comes out of the water at night to graze and can eat up to 68 kilograms of vegetation in one night. Female hippos reach reproductive prime at 5 to 6 years of age, while males at around 7.5 years. Mating takes place in the water, with the female submerged for most of the encounter. Hippos have a gestation period of 8 months. The female hippopotamus will go off by herself to have her calf. She will then stay away from the herd for anywhere from 10 to 44 days. A hippo's lifespan is typically 40 to 50 years.
This is NTV.
Welcome to this edition of Who We Are. Last week we were in Mbale, where we found a Jewish community struggling to fight extinction in the remote Nabugoye Hills. Today we share in the experience of a people that have for a long time been misunderstood to be fierce. This is because these semi-nomadic herders, the Karamojongs, have not received much exposure. But who are the Karamojongs? In order to understand who they are, let's roll back to the 1600s to trace their origins. The Karamojongs are Nilotic herders who migrated south from Abyssinia, where population explosion made it harder and harder for them to find water and pastures for their animals. They first settled at Mount Apollon, where the Turkana live in present-day Kenya. The group that would become the Karamojong headed west of Mount Apollon to Mount Moroto and later descended into the fertile valley of the Apuli River, where some water stood even. The younger generation later spread to occupy Teso and Lango, and the elderly people who were too tired to continue stayed behind with their families. Thus the name Karamojong, which roughly translates into the tired old man who stayed behind. We travel to the most remote land occupied by the Karamojong, Kabong district. We use the eastern road through Mbale, Soroti and Abim districts. Kabong is so remote that taxis do not go there, so the only means of transport are trucks that are loaded with cargo at the bottom and passengers on the top. In Abim, we passed through this rather forested hill, which has been a danger zone for many years. The warriors would hide amidst the trees and rocks and attack civilians. Now that the warriors have been disarmed, the area is relatively safe. In fact, some people are coming back and starting to resettle. Farther ahead near Abim Trading Center, there are some Karamojong who are at least developed and do not live in manyatas anymore. Feeding the family and cultivation are roles which are shared between the men and women. From Abim all the way to Kotido and Kabong, we pass through semi-arid Karamoja that has little or no vegetation, sandy soils and thorny shrubs. After about 600 kilometers of travel, we reach our destination, Kabong district, the most remote region of Karamoja. Kabong was recently carved out of Kotido. Despite what we all have been made to believe about the attitude of Karamojongs, the reception we received here is unbelievable. The Karamojongs are very hospitable, kind and pleasant people. Without electricity or piped water and commodities almost double the price, it is indeed very hard to survive. Yet in the midst of all these seemingly impossible conditions, a peaceful and content community of Karamojong lives. The Karamojong is subdivided into clans, and the clans include the Bokora, Jie, Matheniko and the Dodoth in Kabong, with whom we are going to commune for a few days. When we return, we'll look at a typical Karamojong Manyata family. Dodoth homesteads are larger than those of other Karamojong and are more isolated from one another and are not built in open spaces. Rather, the homesteads are located at the foothills for protection from strong winds, and is also a strategic place in the case of any enemy attacks. Surrounding the homestead, upright poles are thrust into the earth, intertwined with branches and packed with mud and cow dung, forming a sturdy wall with only one or two small openings. As many as 40 people live in one homestead. Each wife has her own hut and fireplace, and a dozen girls often build huts of their own next to their mother's huts. A dozen boys also build a larger men's house where they live before marriage. The Karamojong speak a language that sort of sounds like Ateso. This is not a surprise, as the Karamojongs are close cousins to the Itesots. Among most Karamojong peoples, men living within a homestead are related by descent through male forebearers. The Manyata we visit is headed by Iluka Longolomeyo, who has 6 wives and all.
Tuarangatu to yabutu to anyere apete olomani kwere apana na gipi apana goro.
Iluka lives in this Manyata with his 6 younger brothers and cousins.
Abala mane rugere la regarding la piongine.
Even though there is one leader for an entire Manyata, the different families in it are headed by husbands who have more than one wife. During our stay at Iluka Longolmel's Manyata, we witnessed the roles women and men play in maintaining a home. A woman is supposed to feed the family and take care of the general welfare of a home. whilst the man takes care of cattle together with the younger boys as he grooms and teaches them on how to be good shepherds and pastoralists. This is Nake, a wife to Losuk, a cousin of Ilukal. She wakes up in the morning and starts preparing food for her family. The staple food for the Karamojongs is sorghum, maize, meat and bulrush millet. It's a green millet grain that is common only here in Karamoja. Since the Karamojongs are found in one of the most remote areas of the country, modern civilization has been rather slow in catching up with them. What more do women do in order to make a little money? We shall unfold that next on Who We Are. As a way of making money to buy beads, bangles and Maasai sheets amongst other necessities, the Karamojong women engage in making a local brew known as pete. The process is same as that of making malua, the Itesot's local brew. This is incorporated in their daily work and inevitably a big and constant challenge which they face in this semi-arid part of Uganda is that of water. The region experiences more dry seasons and less rainy seasons, so the women and girls have to do all they can in order to find any trace of water in this harsh and uncompromising climate. Women and girls travel long kilometers in search of water in the scorching sun. But it's not only the people who are affected, but also the animals of this pastoral tribe are adversely affected by this scarcity of water. Much of Karamoja is dry, including all the seasonal rivers, with the exception of River Apule in the Cradle Land. Whilst the women do all these things to try and maintain their families, some men and young boys take the cattle for grazing. Other men stay at home with the elderly ones and spend the entire day sniffing tobacco and generally doing nothing. Children do not go to school, and the girls are trained early on how to become good wives who will provide for their families.
Bas, yo poni oto tinga ya bede. Kacha mo bede lokoka. Ani kacha mo bede lokoka. Haya lokoka. Paka nege. Ani ana ngune dete nga itu alo gdori alo. Wo tai bas. Tarama nyilope. Kudong ngogunege.
The Karamojongs live and die for cattle, the determinant of seemingly everything in a pastoral life.
Ebe roba. Ebe ini kiliada tu tiaranga itu. Ani apolo yang eka katam tu itu no. Ebe ini peveda. Ava unio, ani ava unio. Minno kile. Pene kidia una itu. O tai, hauna malege. Ato yare yang. Apake.
This is what drives many to live on the edge, as nomadic warriors are constantly on the move to find water, to increase their herds, to defend their own, and to get cattle for dowries. We shall explore the Karamojongs and their nomadic tendencies on the next edition of Who We Are. That's it for this week. Today, the impression is in couture. And following in the footsteps of Beethoven. Decorating a home can be exhausting and costly. Professional interior designer Stella Attal gives us tips, tricks, and ideas on how to achieve the best in space and form at friendly prices.
Most of the things here are African. I have the tepsha mat. This is an antique piece from Congo. And then this is a normal black material you can find anywhere in town. So what you can do is to get like the local materials, the Western materials, and then just add a piece of African, and then you make everything change. Then we come to my table, a coffee table. I love it so much. It has coffee beans inside, a lot of coffee beans. and then I use that same texture mat, and then coins, a lot of coins whenever I travel. All the balance from the coins, I just put them here so that when I start selling it a few years to come, it's an antique and everyone can gather money to buy it. What inspires me is the African style, the African designs, whereby when I look into the safaris, African safaris, when I travel, I want to stay in an African place so that I can get ideas. I really love to stay in African places. I love the African feel, and I read a lot about Africa and its history. So that's where I get my inspiration from.
A scheme composed of primary colors, that is, red, blue, and yellow, is always popular with children. Here, red and blue are doing the balancing act, while yellow accentuates form.
For the kids' room, we really have to go for the bright colors, bright kid colors, orange, yellow, red, light blue, all colors, all bright colors for kids can do. You have to make sure most of the things you use are educative. You have to make her a room or him a room where he or she can learn a few things. For the master bedroom, it really depends on someone what they want in. Because most of the rooms, actually when you go to the bedroom, I think the first thing you want is to sleep, to rest. So you need really a peaceful bedroom. You don't need a congested bedroom. You only need your bed, maybe just a table where you keep your key documents, like if you want to make a call, if you want maybe to look into your business cards and then make like a diary for maybe the following day. That's all.
So if you're decorating your home and have no idea what to do or how to do it, where to start or what direction you should take, here is a few tips.
If someone came and they don't really know what they want, first of all, I would give them samples of maybe the works I've done so far and give them like books to look into and see the different kind of settings. Then they will come up with a color theme they want for their house. If they don't have, then we have to go to their place. Then I can, according to the setup of the rooms and then the building, it determines really the colors to use, because the brightness of the room also matters a lot when you're choosing the colors.
Okay.
If it's a dark room, you need a warm, cool color that would really, that helps to brighten up the wall. Like if you have a room where there is no sunshine at all, you could use like a cream, orange, or beige, because those colors, when you put them in, they brighten up the whole place. And then you don't need to put in a lot of things in that room, because if you put in much as you put cream, which is a bright color, and then you put in a lot of things in that room, it's still going to be dark. So you need to give it space. If it's Indian shiny everything, then that one we have to really get rid of it. If it's a simple Western thing, then we have to just use, most of the time we change maybe the color of the walls. We leave maybe like the furniture and the covers. We change the color of the walls and then we try to remove just a few things and then replace them with an African style. Right now, we're just in the process of trying to get people know about African decoration, trying to force them to appreciate what interior decoration is, to appreciate the beauty of what they have in Africa. So I think like in 5 years to come, we'll really have a good number of people, like 50% of the people at least appreciating African decoration.
greatest creative minds of the Italian Renaissance. This individual was hugely influential as an artist and sculptor, but also immensely talented as an engineer, scientist, and inventor. Leonardo da Vinci was born on the 15th of April 1442 near the Tuscan town of Vinci. The illegitimate son of a local lawyer was apprenticed to a sculptor and painter, Andrea del Verrocchio, in Florence, Italy. He moved to Milan and worked as an engineer, sculptor, painter, and architect. Da Vinci was in Milan until the city was invaded by the French in 1499. He then returned to Florence. Although this is a graphic representation, no one knows what his studio really looked like, considering that he was both a scientist and artist. However, during his time in Florence, he painted several portraits. Virgin of the Rocks was the first painting executed by Leonardo after he arrived in Milan. Some people claim it shows the Immaculate Conception, while others think it recalls the moment when the infant Christ met Saint John the Baptist. This painting by Leonardo da Vinci was rediscovered in the 19th century and was immediately assumed to be a self-portrait. This sketch and the notes that go with it show how Leonardo understood the proportions of the human body. Each separate part was a simple fraction of the whole. And finally, possibly one of the most famous paintings in the world, the portrait of Mona Lisa, which is referred to as simply the Mona Lisa. Leonardo used the technique of blurring of sharp edges by blending colors to leave the corners of the eye and mouth in shadow. It is this technique that makes the Mona Lisa's expression ambiguous. The portrait has been written about and discussed in countless books and publications. Artists and more recently filmmakers have also produced derivative works from the Mona Lisa. Leonardo's favorite paintings, and he carried it with him until he died. Today, it is regarded as one of the most famous paintings in the world and is visited by thousands of people every year. This picture shows the Leonardo plaque in Amboise. Leonardo is believed to have died of paralysis on the 2nd of May 1519 in Amboise at the age of 67. If all his work had been displayed in an intelligible form, Da Vinci's place as a pioneering artist would have been beyond dispute. African art, textile, patterns, animals, and colorful scenery have inspired many artists all over the world. The fashion industry has also incorporated African impressions in their designs.
A lot of the time, African culture, you know, the culture around us, the music, the people, the vibrancy. As you can see, all our fabrics are very colorful, and that's something that Africa has a lot. If you just look in the marketplace or you look at the vegetation, everything's bright and cheerful.
Anne Musisi, the co-founder of local design house Samaki, explains the coining of the name Samaki.
Samaki is a Swahili word meaning fish, and we chose the symbol of fish because we believe that fish are very much like people. They're all different shapes, different colors, different sizes. They just move in and out of life, and we felt it was a good symbol for fashion. Our fabrics are all unique designs. All those designs are created in-house, the patterns by Samaki. And as you can see, they're hand screen printed onto cotton fabrics. And then we either sell the fabric plain or we have a ready-to-wear collection. The designs are done, then they're put onto film. After they're put onto film, a screen is made, and then the process is they're silk screen printed.
is screen printing. It's a slow process, and it would take like half an hour to 1 hour to print one piece. Once I've designed the patterns, sit down and look at them and try to get the character out of the design, what it's expressing exactly. Basing on what's in the pattern, like this has got a lot of X's, which are symbols for kisses, things like that.
After the process of printing, the print is then dried using a fan. Samaki first showcased its collections in 2000 International Fashion Week with 2 totally stunning outfits depicting their house brand.
The very first a dress in the shape of our logo, a fish in red and black, which represented the Samaki brand. And then after that, the second showpiece creation we did was a combination.
Airtel Rising Stars, one of Africa's greatest football tournaments, has returned with one goal: to find the best teams, the best talent, and to see which players are good enough to train with internationally acclaimed coaches at the prestigious Airtel Rising Stars football camp. If you're out there, we'll find you.
Welcome to Sunday's NTV Weekend Edition, coming to you slightly later than usual due to an extended Tasker Project FEM. Thank you for staying with NTV. It is the 3rd of June, Martyrs Day, and a national holiday commemorating the Uganda martyrs, the Christian converts who were murdered for their faith. We have coverage of all today's events plus the color of the day. It is also on this issue that we will be seeking your views in tonight's NTV Weekend poll. Plus, in NTV Weekend Sport, find out how Uganda Cranes fared against Angola in the World Cup 2014 qualifier. Don't go anywhere this Sunday evening as we have all the day's developments, starting right now with the headlines.
It's not one man's action.
Fresh intelligence as police hunt for a group of terror suspects who are believed to have crossed into the country.
Join me, Hilary Isiga, to bring you the message of transformation at Namugongo Church of Uganda Martyrs Shrine.
Dieting, exercising and a free tobacco body are some ways to ensure longevity and a good health. However, these are being abused. In tonight's Health Focus, join me, Florence Alima, as I tell you of a lifestyle that you can take that can lead you early to your grave.
The National Schools Junior Volleyball Championships came to a close at London College in Mpigi this evening. Join me, Alfred Odom, with the students who emerged victors in the boys and girls competitions.
Once again, welcome to NTV Weekend Edition. I am Josephine Karunji. We begin tonight's newscast with a developing story. A passenger plane has crashed into a building in Nigeria's main city of Lagos, officials and witnesses say. The Dana Air flight was heading from Lagos to Abuja. It is not believed that any of the approximately 162 people on board have survived. The crash took place in a neighborhood just outside the airport. Eyewitnesses say they saw the plane strike a building and then burst into flames. Efforts have been made to improve air safety in Nigeria since a spate of airline disasters back in 2005. Details continuing to emerge, and we will have further details in our subsequent bulletins. And moving on, fresh information from intelligence sources is emerging tonight that suggests the police have upped the security alert as they continue to hunt for a group of terror suspects who are believed to have sneaked into the region from Somalia. The suspected terrorists are believed to be linked to the Somali militant terror group Al-Shabaab. NTV understands the group of terrorists are working as part of a mission to launch a series of attacks. They are believed to have sneaked into the country as police continues to caution the public to be vigilant. Craig Kadoda opens tonight's newscast with the latest terrorism warning.
About 2 weeks ago, Ahmed Khalid Mola is believed to have entered Kenya illegally before slipping through the security dragnet and finally entering Uganda. Now, police, according to intelligence information, are searching for more terror suspects, including Emra Edogan, who are believed to be foreign fighters boosting the Al-Shabaab bombings in the region.
These are the people who are behind this project of carrying out attacks on this region. Not Uganda alone, but Kenya and the whole of East Africa. So now, they slipped into Kenya and eventually we have all the high suspicion that they could be here.
The terrorists are believed to be in the region, and police is calling upon the public to be more vigilant and cooperative in case they get to hear of any information about the terrorists.
It's not one man's action. What's happening is that they are meeting the group. Nobody works single-handedly as a terrorist.
Some of the terrorists are on the international wanted list. Now, police has intensified security checks in all public places, including foot patrols in the city. Craig Kadoda, NTV Weekend Edition.
Next tonight, the church has reiterated its participation in the country's politics, something that has caused debate among a section of Ugandans in the recent past. While preaching at the Catholic shrine during a service to celebrate Martyrs Day, the Bishop of Kasana Luwero says all religious leaders should not shy away from talking about issues that are affecting the country. Meanwhile, at the Anglican shrine, the Speaker of Parliament has blamed the leadership there for failing to market the site, despite it being one of the recognized tourist attraction sites in the world.
Bishop Paul Simogel from Kasanal Well says all religious leaders have a right to talk about things that they feel are not going on well in the country, and thus scoffed at those who have in the recent past attacked them for commenting on political issues.
The church is the conscience of society, and today the society needs a conscience. Do not be afraid to speak.
Bishop Simogel, who led the mass at the Catholic shrine in Namugongo, talked about the continued moral degeneration amongst Ugandans, which has resulted into high crime rate in the country.
How can we reconcile witchcraft, human and child sacrifices, polygamy, domestic violence?
And the Kampala Archbishop Cyprian Kizito maintained his call for a peaceful transfer of power from President Museveni to another leader.
That the best gift our president can give us is a smooth transfer of power. That's why also I advise His Excellency that should be very careful with the people who are giving him information. And as we preach peace in this country, let us promote unity and nothing else.
The service at the Catholic shrine was attended among others the Vice President Edward Sekandi, Buganda's Premier Jebu Osimbi, Cabinet Ministers, among others. Meanwhile, at the Anglican shrine, the Speaker of Parliament Rebecca Kadaga challenged authorities to market the shrine as a tourist destination.
Can we make the marketing continuous? Not just come here once in a year. What else do we do the rest of the year? We should be marketing Namugongo Shrine.
Kadaga advised the church to include in their marketing strategy one of the internationally recognized Martyrs, Bishop Hannington, who played a crucial role in the transformation of the church.
He has been recognized in the Church of England as a Martyr of Uganda. But when we read this book, each time I come, I want to see Bishop Hannington here, but I don't see him. How can we forget that he's part of us? So I'm appealing to you, I'm not directing you, but I want you to think about it.
And retired Bishop of Kigezi Edward Muhima challenged the police to handle demonstrators with dignity because they have the right to demonstrate whenever they feel aggrieved. Julius Senkandwa, NTV.
Well, it is on this issue that we engage you tonight in our NTV Weekend Poll, and we are asking, do you think government has done enough to promote the Namugongo Martyrs shrines as a tourist attraction? I repeat, do you think government has done enough to promote the Namugongo Martyrs shrines as a tourist attraction? To have your say, text 8778, followed by your name and where you're texting from, and we shall be reading some of your comments during tonight's newscast. Now, Namugongo Martyrs shrines today attracted thousands of pilgrims, but as the tradition dictates, with the huge numbers of people also came plenty of celebration and color. Last night, the pilgrims celebrated with some taking to alcohol, while others danced to the local tunes. The pork-selling joints were flooded with revelers who have made it a custom that the 3rd of June is their D-Day. Police were on high alert and 53 suspected pickpockets were arrested. Hilary Esiga reports.
These pilgrims kicked off their celebration on the eve of Martyrs' Day with dance and alcohol. They went on until the wee hours. This is how they commemorate Martyrs' Day. Holding a gourd in one hand and a straw in the other, the revelers unleashed their best dance strokes. Booze and pork was in plenty. Some revelers were found taking a nap, a sign that they were overpowered by the local brew. The business-minded people took advantage of the day to sell their merchandise. The politicians also used the opportunity to pass on their message to the pilgrims. Hilary Isiga, NTV.
Now moving on, and Muslim leaders are threatening industrial action over the delay by police to release a report of inquiry into the death of a Muslim cleric who was shot dead in downtown Kampala a few months ago. The clerics say President Museveni promised to reconcile the different Muslim factions, but the move is yet to yield results.
Oye President Museveni bino ebyekisiraamu azanye movie ku byekisiraamu naye ziweddeyo. Aveeyo arabe bwagenda okutereza ekintu ky'obusiraamu. Otherwise ate nakakasizza President twamuga nti ekintu ky'okulonda kino buzibu n'agamba kigende mu maaso kati bagenze ku stage endala naye ng'ekintu tukimugambye obudde bukyali. Mr. President tukugambye ebintu bino ng'obudde bukyali tuli mikwano gyo. Wali concentrating ku FOC nabana aba political parties n'otateekako ky'abasiraamu kubanga tojja kukyagala ekinaddirira. Owulidde ekyo President tumutegeeza misana ekinaddirira tajja kukyagala. Wallahi summa wallahi kijja kukunga abasiraamu b'eggwanga. President Museveni ekigambo kijjeemu omuzannyo kijjeemu tunyomanyoma ekyo kyakulembeza.
Well, let's now take a short break, but there is still so much more ahead on NTV Weekend Edition, including... In this week's political feature, we evaluate all the drama of the week in elections for Uganda's Iyala candidates. And Uganda Cranes draw with Angola in the AFCON World Cup qualifiers. NTV Weekend Edition continues after this short break. Stay with us.
This is NTV. 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 This is NTV.
Welcome back to NTV Weekend Edition. Now a reminder that in this evening's NTV Weekend poll, we are asking, do you think government has done enough to promote the Namugongo Martyrs shrines as a tourist attraction? I repeat, do you think government has done enough to promote the Namugongo Martyrs shrines as a tourist attraction? To have your say, text 8778 followed by your name and where you're texting from. Let's now take a look at some of your responses so far. And we start with Elijah Shirop, who says no. The government forgets about the shrines as soon as the celebrations end. Ismail Sevaduka says no, the Ugandan government, not for the Ugandan government, but the visit of the former Pope John Paul opened it to the outside world. And Edgar Bire says that is a place that should be reserved for worship. Why make it a tourist attraction center? How will its image look? The government is right if that so-called assistance is not given. Well, thank you so much for all of your responses. We will take a look at some more towards the end of this newscast. Now moving on, and the current life expectancy in Uganda stands at only 52 years of age. However, some people are dying even earlier, and it is as a result of a lifestyle choice whether or not to smoke. It appears a healthy and balanced diet in conjunction with moderate physical exercise is not the preferred choice for many. Meanwhile, tobacco smoking is a preventable cause of illness, claiming the lives of 6 million people per year. Smokers expose themselves to the risk of tobacco-related diseases. As this week marked Non-Smoking Day, we investigate the effects of smoking in this week's Health Focus.
No, you're teaching us. I swim for fitness. To relax my life and my brains.
Such is enough to guarantee Matembe and the ladies more years to live compared to those who don't do any exercise.
And as we age, people of my age really, if you just sit there and eat.
According to health experts, exercise is an important aspect of our lives that we should take seriously. It is one aspect that can help increase on the life expectancy in the country and all over the world. Hence, keeping diseases at bay. However, not many people are helping themselves live longer. Self-imposed lifestyle is damaging their health, and the main concern for public health advocates is tobacco.
Others put it in the nose, others smoke it as a cigarette.
In the process, posing danger to their health because of the addictive psychoactive ingredient nicotine.
The smoke you see contains over 4,000 chemicals. Out of the 4,000, over 250 chemicals are known to cause harm to our bodies.
And according to Dr. Posse, about 60 of them cause cancer, with the commonest being lung cancer. The tar in the cigarettes is mostly responsible.
Makes the lungs dirty, and this smoke, when it goes in when it is hot.
Carbon monoxide is another component to look out for.
When it goes in the blood vessels, it causes vasoconstriction, so they are not able to deliver blood. That's why you find smoke is causing heart disease.
Other risk cancers are to the mouth, gum and the throat. Smoking also causes peptic ulcers over time, leading to cancers of the stomach and intestines, as well as causing respiratory diseases.
There is a disease called emphysema, where somebody fails to breathe.
Other organs are not spared.
In men, smoking can cause impotence. They fail to perform, and this can lead to social problems at home. In women, smoking can cause miscarriage.
According to the manager for Center for Tobacco Control in Africa, the days of tobacco industries are numbered.
We in tobacco, we believe we are in a legalized business.
The Ministry of Health has developed warning labels that are currently on all cigarette packages, warning about the public about the dangers of tobacco use.
So it is by choice those who are taking it.
But you're making available a commodity which you know that people are still going to yearn for.
But that's what I'm saying. If it is not legalized the way it is going to be terrible.
Tobacco industry should not be allowed to conduct activities aimed at appearing good to the public, yet they sell a product that is lethal.
Legalized business.
Comparisons have gone as far as who lives longer in this bitter war between anti-tobacco and pro-tobacco fighters.
You don't have to smoke so many, so they are still living.
Effects of cigarettes use, they are not seen in 5 years. They are not even seen in 10 years. He may not even realize that actually the cancer he's suffering from was due to tobacco use.
The question remains, is it possible to phase out tobacco?
Did anybody ever imagine, somebody living in America, ever imagine a world without a slave?
It has contributed to the success of this country.
It's bloody money.
To Dr. Posi, concern should be on increasing life expectancy of people.
We should avoid smoking. That's a major risk factor. Consuming a lot of sugary and fatty foods. Consuming a lot of alcohol.
According to the WHO Global Report on Mortality attributable to tobacco, apart from causing most non-communicable diseases, tobacco is a main cause of death for communicable or infectious diseases. It can, for example, activate dormant tuberculosis.
I don't smoke, I don't drink, by choice. Do you?
No, I don't.
Choice.
After hearing it from the tobacco industry, it appears like cigarettes are still going to be manufactured for as long as the business is legalized, leaving the consumers with the power to choose whether to continue puffing away their health or quit. According to WHO, continued use of tobacco will see you as one of the 6 million people who die every year globally, and your behavior will kill the person next to you who inhales the secondary smoke. Fear is that in less than 20 years to come, the death toll may rise to 8 million people each year, including innocent babies. What is better, though, is not starting to use tobacco at all. Florence Nalimba, NTV.
Amidst protests by the FDC party and divisions within the opposition parties in parliament, on Tuesday Uganda went ahead and conducted the elections of the representatives to the East African Legislative Assembly. The 3 opposition parties, UPC, DP and CP, participated in the elections. The main opposition, FDC party in parliament and general boycotted, seeking legal redress from the East African Court. So are there possibilities that this election can be annulled, or has the FDC shot itself in the foot? Here is this week's political feature.
It was all celebration and jubilation on Wednesday as the 9th Parliament elected 9 members to represent Uganda at the East African Legislative Assembly. Though 4 opposition parties, FDC, DP, UPC, CP and Gyama had signed a protocol to boycott the elections on accusations that Article 50 of the Treaty for the Establishment of the East African Community was not conformed to, UPC and DP went around and participated. And the officials of the main opposition FDC party in parliament and analysts see this as betrayal and immature politics.
In fact, the NRM is unhappy with me because I wanted to strike a deal with me so that they take the R7 and we take the 2 at the FDC. But I, wanting to be a real nationalist, following the law, I called my colleagues and no, I think we should follow the treaty. Instead, our colleagues who have taken on have just stabbed us in the back.
Either by doing it knowingly, by omission or commission, we have played their game. And the opposition had realized that we cannot continue like this, and progressively we can easily lose the confidence of Ugandans.
This election, instead of being a matter about Uganda as against other countries, turned out to be a very deep interplay between parties in parliament, and in a way has devalued the importance of Yala, because I think once somebody goes to Arusha, the most important thing that person is representing is not the NRM, it's not the DP, it's the interest of our country.
This division gave the ruling NRM party a leeway to have the majority of 6 seats at Yala, UPC 1, DP 1, and 1 independent.
FDC has now petitioned the East African Court to nullify the election, saying Parliament did not conform to the treaty for the establishment of the East African Community.
And we believe we shall get it. But we're going to do it, given the fact that our colleagues have participated, that we're going alone, to show that we are no longer a group as we started.
It makes the election appear to be in violation of Article 50 of the treaty, and I think that the FDC has a good case, and I think that it is important for court to decide and definitively declare what the court interprets that section to mean, because if it doesn't, it's still going to affect elections in the future, and we must take this chance to define clearly what Article 50 means.
Article 50 of the treaty provides that national parliaments shall elect 9 members who shall represent, as much as it is feasible, the various political parties represented in the National Assembly, shades of opinion, gender, and other social interest groups. But as it is now, the ruling NRM has 6 representatives, 1 for DP, UPC 1, and 1 independent. So does this conform to Article 50 of the treaty?
If that election is challenged to be unlawful, then the courts must decide upon it, legitimacy or not. It doesn't really matter, because you're never going to have elections in which there's universal consensus. People are going to challenge an election and claim that it's illegitimate. That's a perception. But I think the most important thing is it lawful? Does it comply with the provisions of the treaty? I think it doesn't. Now, if it doesn't, then the court must annul the election and order for fresh elections in Uganda. They've done it before, they can do it again.
Though the elected 9 members are now slated for a swearing-in Arusha, the FDC is hands-on to ensure that court rules in their favor. Agnes Nandutu, NTV Weekend Edition.
Thank you, Agnes. Now, to expound on these issues, I am joined in the studio tonight by John Mulimba, the Member of Parliament for Bugwe South. North. A very warm welcome to NTV Weekend Edition.
Thank you.
Now, as a legislator, do you think that the elections you just concluded last week on Wednesday were according to Article 50?
Yes, I do believe so. Article 50 itself, I think, in the opinion of whoever really is reading, in the opinion of the speaker, as far as she was presiding over the elections, she deemed it fit to have representation the way it went. And of course the ruling also of the East African Court of Justice gave mandate to the particular individual assemblies, partner state assemblies, to determine, the rules and also to guide the elections. So they were guided accordingly, and I think it was in conformity with Article 50 of the treaty.
Oh, NRM was bent on taking most of the seats, and because of that, parties like the FDC pulled out. Who do we have to blame for that?
Before the issue of numerical strength was withdrawn, NRM really, interestingly, could have taken, they're having intentions of taking everything, could have been in good faith, in as long as there was still that issue of numerical strength. But after the withdrawal of numerical strength, the remaining provisions were now, as much as it is feasible, participation of all political parties was guaranteed. What was not guaranteed though was the representation of all political parties. But at least what happened is that all political parties, the opposition, participated in the elections. So the withdrawal of FDC, in my view, I think was misdirected, it was not called for.
Well, analysts argue that the FDC has a good case when they go to the East African Court. What do you think would happen? What would Parliament do if this election is annulled?
Well, I don't need to anticipate over this, but it's their right to go to court if they feel aggrieved as mandated by the Constitution. But if they went to court and the elections were annulled, as it were, we shall again come back and we shall have an election. And an election, to assure you, it is a vote determined by majority. And who are the majority in this case? Is NRM. So really, I don't see the perspective which they are really looking forward to saying that they will scope in their interest majority over this matter. In as much as we may want to have really medical strength provided for in the article. But of course, the NRM is the majority in the House. 260 and over members in the House. The opposition being as many as they are, But if the FDC pulled out as FDC, the other political parties participated. So that one now gives in a way, conforms the treaty because the opposition has participated.
In your opinion?
In my opinion, really, if they so wish to go to court like they have done, let them go to court. The outcome will come. Let's cross the bridge when we get there.
Okay. In your opinion, should we concentrate on who was represented or not represented, or should we concentrate on the quality of people that we are sending there?
In fact, personally, I have a quarrel with provisions of Article 50. The ambiguity in the provision, I think it comes in the drafting. First of all, before you know where you're going, you need to know where you're coming from. As East African community, we should know that at one time we had this community at certain level, and then it broke down. Now, having that in mind should really give us a lesson that where we are going, we need to guide very consciously and move very, very carefully. We need to calculate our steps. The provision of having various political parties represented, to me, is not really very fair. First of all, if you look at the purpose, why the provisions of that legislation which requires membership, eligibility of contesting for a member of the YALA, being outside Parliament, I think was about making sure that member states do not influence whatever happens at the Assembly of East Africa. Now, to say again that it must be represented, membership must be representative of various political parties, in my own view, that wasn't fair. That should really be drafted. We should not be looking at political party representation. So in any case, whatever is happening here, even the argument of FDC, they are talking about political party representation. It should be partner states representation.
And lastly, Honorable, are you satisfied with the 9 representatives that were elected?
Well, I'm satisfied because they are democratically elected.
Okay.
And I think as of now, there is no contest over it. We haven't had any. If it came about, well, we shall get there. But I think, in my view, the elections went on fairly well, and democracy flourished.
Well, let's certainly hope we can get the best out of them while they're there. Thank you so much, Honorable, for taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you so much.
I have been speaking to John Mulimba, the Member of Parliament for Samia Bugwe North. Now moving on, and at least 75% of Uganda's population is considered to be actively participating in the country's agriculture sector. However, concern remains as to why this sector, an otherwise key domain of the economy, continues to perform dismally at just 14% of contribution to the gross domestic product. Experts now believe that many practices by those in agribusiness continue to remain out of sync, further affecting productivity, market stability, as well as the personal finance of farmers.
These are part of millions of farmers engaged in the agricultural sector of Uganda, although a narrow contribution to the country's gross domestic product remains part of concerns. It's also felt that many of them still encounter weak personal financial status because of low productivity, as well as failure to effectively match their effort with market needs.
The farmer sells very quickly during harvest when prices are very low, because they fear this commodity will go bad in the next 2 months, 3 months. In the case of Uganda, you find prices somewhere in February, March. A kilogram of beans was around 400, 450 Uganda shillings per kilogram. The farmer was selling them to dispose of. When you come to May, the prices have actually gone up to 1,200.
Now, experts give counsel that in a way can be part of the strategies participants in agribusiness can consider as measures to improve on their own personal finances.
If the farmer was able to preserve their commodity and store it for 2 months only, they would have been able to get a price difference of equivalent to 800 Uganda shillings. So this is a mechanism that actually you can use to break the poverty cycle. Not the farmer selling at the mercy of the market. Basically, you have to introduce products that takes out the farmer from them being at the mercy of the market, but being in control of their prices, whereby they store effectively, wait for the right period to sell, then they offload at the right price, right time.
Nearly 40% out of total farm produce meant for both homestead consumption as well as market sales are considered as wasted, largely owing to poor handling by farmers.
Let's now take a short break, but I'll be straight back with the very latest in sport. Don't go away.
This is NTV. 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 This is NTV.
Welcome to NTV Weekend Sport. The Uganda Cranes have snatched an important point in Angola this evening after settling for a 1-1 draw with the home side. Emmanuel Okwi made a late finish in the 88th minute of the game to kick off Uganda's 2014 World Cup qualifier with a boost. Campus Jalna scored an early goal in the 7th minute of the game to put the home side in the lead before the Cranes equalized. The draw in Angola is a major boost ahead of Saturday's second World Cup qualifier against Senegal at the Mandela National Stadium. Meanwhile, also in the same group, Senegal won their first game against Liberia by 3-1. The best team from the group will qualify for the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. Nachina and Trust High Schools are the 2012 National Schools Junior Volleyball Champions after winning St. Mary's Chitende and Maryhill in the boys and girls finals played at London College in Wakiso. The turn-up impressed organizers who have called on government to give a hand in nurturing the youngsters for international competitions, as Alfredo Dong reports.
St. Mary's Chitende failed to retain the boys' national juniors volleyball title, losing to Chinawa High School in straight sets. The finals played at London College had Chinawa dominating the game all through, taking game 1 by 25 against 18. Chitende looked determined to come back to the game in the second, but Chinawa claimed the victory with a 31-29 points win to become the national champions. This event had officials making a call to government to give a hand in developing the youngsters' talents.
And it's amazing, the turn-up has been very good and the level of play of the game has grown. And we assume that if we go with this pace, volleyball is going to be a different game in the country. We'd like to urge the government to support the sports and games because it is key to widening our curriculum.
Trust High overcame Maryhill by 2-1 to retain the girls' accolade. Schools now turn their efforts in making an impact in the National Post-Primary Schools Championships to be played in Mbale next week. Alfred Odong, NTV Sport.
Thank you, Alfred. Well, the Pakistan Cricket Premier League entered the second day today with the reigning champions Jonda beating Gill in their bid to retain the title they won in Kampala last year. Jonda proved their critics wrong as they outplayed Gill in the T20 game with a 72 runs victory at Makerere University. The second edition of the competition, which brings the Pakistani community together in Kampala, saw Jembo relying on their bowling and fielding to register an 8-wicket win over Punjab. Rahman had an easy ride over PPUW in the other game as they look to including the elite players in the league in their competitions. Plans are also in advanced stages to see Pakistan's leading players coming to face with Uganda in Kampala. Gulu's Emmanuel Ochiti has won the Nile Pool Championships and qualified to represent the region in the finals of the National Open due in Kampala in August. Ochiti beat Walter Odoki in the regional final by 3-0. Despite losing, Odoki will join Ochiti in Kampala as the two regional representatives. A Ru County Member of Parliament, Odongo Oto, was among the unlucky participants who failed to hit the qualification mark. The legislator has since vowed to participate in another regional qualifier to bid the make to Kampala finals. In a bid to make the Kampala finals.
Because those ones are professional players and the rules are clear. You can predict them. This man, I couldn't predict him at any one moment. I did not know what he would do next. So it's like I was playing against myself.
And finally, in basketball, Gulu Hawks this morning secured their 5th win of the season with a 50-point victory over MBC Rocks in the National Basketball League game played in Kampala.
Gulu Hawks' chase for a place in the first division got a boost this morning as they overcame MBC Rocks in the second division league game played in Kampala. The Hawks took an early command of the game with a 22-4 in the first quarter before going down in the second with a 13 against MBC Rocks 19. The Gulu-based side, however, made a comeback in the third and the fourth with a 20-5 and 37 against the Rocks 13 to claim the victory with a total collection of 92-41. Agustino Win becoming the man of the match with the highest individual score at 22 for the victors. Walter Alenyo and Patrick Nyeko adding 20 and 19 each.
Tactically today we played better defense, unlike yesterday's defense, because today we got stuck to our game's plan, and that's why we won this game.
You can't imagine we had a play that we learned 5 minutes from the game and we used it.
Well, that winds up our NTV Weekend Sport. Stay with us. Your comments from tonight's NTV Weekend poll are coming up next.
This is NTV. 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 This is
Thank you for staying with us. Let's take you back to tonight's NTV Weekend poll, and we asked, do you think government has done enough to promote the Namugongo Martyrs shrines as a tourist attraction? Thank you all so much for all of your responses. Let's take a look at what you said. John Boyle says Uganda has not done what is needed to promote Namugongo Uganda Martyrs shrines as a tourist attraction. Even if it is a place of worship, our economy needs whatever resources are available to make us rich. Olive Vanita says, what is there to show? Totally nothing. The little that is there is all thanks to the heads of the Christians. William Kalanda says, why should we put every task to the government? I believe the management of that place is in a better position to promote the place. Trust me, they get enough resources that can be used to do so. Let us look up to the government to build us hospitals. And finally, Ulama Joey says, why should it? Religion and politics do not mix. Thank you so much for all of those responses. Let's take a look at Monday's projected weather. that concludes NTV Weekend Edition for tonight. NTV Tonight will resume tomorrow, so keep it right here with NTV. I'm Josephine Karunji. Have a blessed week and a good night.
This is NTV. This is NTV.